Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and we have one hell of a show on tap for all of y'all today. Walking into work, I give my dad a call, and I go, Dad, what do you think about these three segments? And the three segments that we got coming up here are this. Could Josh McDaniels be fired? There was a report from Diana Rossini that says it's not impossible. We'll get into the ins and outs of what that report is because according to Diana, guess what? The Raiders are trying to win and that they are going to be buyers at the NFL trade deadline. Then I decided to give my five-step plan. My five-step plan on how to fix the Las Vegas Raiders before the NFL trade deadline. You'll see that. And then my very, very final segment on today's show is Josh McDaniels replacements. I can't sit up here every single day. I saw William Merchant before the show started was like, we're just going to whine about McDaniels getting fired and we know he's not going to go anywhere. And William, I don't disagree with what you're saying, and I don't like to be the guy that sits up here and complains about somebody doing a job that I don't know if I'd have the ability to do. However, what you're going to see today is this. If I'm going to sit up here and say it's time to move on from Josh McDaniels, McDaniels is the problem. I always say that now you got to be able to solve that problem. So what's my deal? I'm giving you my top 6 interim head coaching replacements for the Raiders in case they do decide to move on from McDaniels during the middle of the season and go a different direction. The last time McDaniels was fired as a head coach was also in the middle of the season with the Denver Broncos. Then I got, if you want to get those questions, comments on the show, use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat, and then we're going to do a 50-50 raffle at the very, very end of the show. But without further ado, I need every single person right now to welcome in. Apparently, it's Casper the Friendly Ghost because I don't know where they are. Welcome in, Jeremy Chuggs!
Raider Nation, what's going on?
Everybody give a warm welcome in to Jeremy Chuggs. Also, for those that do not know, we actually have TaskRabbit here at the Chat Sports Studios.
Ow!
If we get a $100 Super Chat, will the TaskRabbit guy hit the gong? That's the real question. It might happen. I don't know. He's shaking his head. He's not going to do it.
He's shaking it up and down.
I don't know. Maybe he's a Bills fan. Maybe he's a Lions fan. I'm not sure what fan he is. But I bet we might be able to convince him. Well, maybe. I don't know. Unless he likes Josh. If he likes Josh McDaniels, then he definitely is not allowed on this show. Speaking of McDaniels, how likely is it that the Raiders end up firing McDaniels? I want you to scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 being,
Heshway.
1 being, it's not likely. 10, it's very, very likely.
I can't get away from it.
How likely is it that the Raiders fire Josh McDaniels? 1 being, it's not going to happen. 10, this mother effer is getting fired. And speaking of fired, I got a super chat rolling in here from Sideshow Nick. What up, Sideshow?
Oh.
And this is a very, very simple message here, Jeremy. It is fire
McDonald's.
What do you get at McDonald's? Are you a chicken nuggets, fries guy?
I'm a big value menu guy. Big value menu guy. I usually get like maybe a cheeseburger and a 6-piece nuggie.
Okay, I'm listening.
Or I'll get like, out of everything, I don't care what time of day it is, give me McDonald's breakfast.
McDonald's breakfast can get it. Though there is somebody here at the office that likes the McRib, and I don't think the McRib's any good.
A McGriddle?
Oh, dude, absolutely. Let us know down below what you would get from McDonald's if you were sitting at the McDonald's drive-thru right now. Let's give some shout-outs here, though, to the question. What is the likelihood of Josh McDaniels getting fired? 1, it's not going to happen. 10, it's going to happen. What do we have here? We got a 10 from D'Angelo Fortenberry. What's up, my brother? Joseph Aguilar Family Pack. Speaking of family, shout out to Sarah Otto and the Otto family. Always repping. I think it's funny. The more and more this show grows, and in fact, Jeremy, we're getting really close to 150,000 subscribers.
Ooh.
People are always asking, Mitch, why do you wear your jersey backwards? The Raiders Report is a show built on the backs of the nation, so guess what? Instead of just seeing the front of the jersey, I want y'all to see the people that actually make a difference here amongst the nation. Shout out to the Otto family.
People always ask me, where do you play your daily fantasy? And I give them one answer.
Yeah?
That's PrizePicks, baby.
Yeah?
PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy.
PrizePicks. Yeah. Seriously, if you want to know what my picks are for this week,
PrizePicks.
You guys probably aren't going to like it, but this is the route that I'm going to go. I'm going to go less on Josh Jacobs' touchdowns because I don't know if the Raiders are ever going to score points this season.
PrizePicks.
Jared Goff, give me the more on the passing yards because they just got their shit pushed in against the Baltimore Ravens, and I think they're going to have a little bit of a revenge game. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown has had over 100 yards receiving in like 4 out of his last 5 games. Plus, I do have him in my family fantasy league.
Can I get 2 claps into Ric Flair?
Woo! PrizePicks. Go get started right now. The link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and down in the description. Watch this. Watch Jeremy put this link right here in the chat. Watch Jeremy put this link down here in the chat. Watch Jeremy put this link down here in the chat. If you don't go click on that link, then hey, you can never play PrizePicks, but also you probably eat corn the long way. Remember, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. I hate my picks this week, but I do. I hate my picks this week. Now, obviously, I can hope that maybe Jared Goff has a little bit of garbage points coming down the end of the stretch because the Raiders have a massive lead, but here's the problem. When you can't score 20 points, I don't know if you're ever going to have a massive lead. I don't know, but those are my picks if you want them. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Chuggs, let's keep on asking the nation here some questions. A lot of heat around Josh McDaniels, and I get it. I am the president, the CEO of the Fire Josh McDaniels Club. I have updated my Twitter bio. I have updated my Instagram bio.
Really?
I did. I pulled a Jack, and I updated it. I had to. But you know who's not getting a lot of flack right now? Dave Ziegler.
Yeah?
Is Dave Ziegler a good GM? Yes or no?
Oh.
Is Dave Ziegler a good GM? Yes or no?
You got some laughs. Don't worry.
I mean, because if we're going to sit up here and rip apart Josh McDaniels, remember, Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, they're tied together. And Ziegler doesn't have to tie himself down with Josh McDaniels. I think there's a giggity in there somewhere probably, but I need to know genuinely. Is Ziegler a good GM? Because I don't think it's 100% fair where only McDaniels is the one catching all the flack. And I said it last year. McDaniels deserved blame for the Raiders' struggles. Derek Carr deserved blame for the Raiders' struggles. But right now, I feel like it's only McDaniels. Do the quarterbacks deserve blame? Yes. But Ziegler has to deserve a little bit of blame on that as well.
And this is why I love YouTube, Mitch.
Okay.
Comment. Can everybody just chill with the fire the coach stuff? It's not going to happen. Very serious comment from Donkey Doo 71.
Dude, did you see what happened in the girls' bathroom earlier? Yeah, I heard somebody drop the Donkey Doo. That's what I hear. But seriously, though, what do you guys think? We got 830 people here right now in the building.
Mitch, you're up there looking like a clown. What's your name? Puss in Boots 47.
I mean, get a picture, right? You know what I mean? Actually, do you want Puss in Boots' Puss in Boots' picture on YouTube? I don't know. That could be anything. That could be the putter holders that you were showing me earlier. I don't know what they were.
I had literally all I saw was Dick's Sporting Goods.
Do you have that picture still, or is it gone? It was an ad, right?
Yeah, it was an ad.
I was going to say, if you could find that, put that picture up here. Because when you showed me that, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way.
What is that?
All right, is Dave Ziegler a good general manager? Let's see what you guys have to say. Martin says, he's okay. Blue Richards, meh. What up, Venom Sosa, or should I say, what's up? Peter Ramirez, Dominic Rios. Peter says no. Dominic says yes. I got Robert Jansen says yes. Ken Kenyon says, I think so. Dark Side Chevy, do you think Dark Side Chevy drives a Chevy?
Oh, yeah.
If it's your last name, I almost feel like you have to. You know what I mean? I feel like you have to.
It's like your name being McDonald's, and you're like, I'm more of a Wendy's guy. Even though, hot take, Wendy's better than McDonald's.
With certain things, no doubt.
Dude.
Wendy's breakfast is not.
Oh, have you had it?
Yes.
Dude, I don't know.
There were 3 restaurants in my hometown. McDonald's.
But they didn't have Wendy's breakfast back then, did they?
No.
So have you had it?
The last time I had Wendy's breakfast, I will admit the croissant breakfast sandwich, good, but I like to compare. McDonald's doesn't have that. I think McDonald's is better for breakfast, though. Like, if I'm getting a chicken sandwich, I'd rather go to Wendy's.
What Wendy's gets me and why I'm like, dude, Wendy's over McDonald's, it's one item and one item only. Spicy chicken nuggets.
Okay.
There's spicy chicken nuggets. Dude, we've done eating contests here in the past.
Yeah.
I might be
You think you could beat me?
overestimate. I think I could eat 50 Wendy's nuggets.
I did the 50 McNugget challenge from McDonald's. That was tough.
I think I could easily do 50 chicken nuggets in like 5 minutes.
All right, I got a question for the nation out there. Do you like Wendy's? Yes or no? Do you like Wendy's? Yes or no? Yes or no? That's the question right now. Who wants a shout out here on the Raiders Report?
But I think we can all agree Burger
Do
King
you
is
like-
trash.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You can either go Wendy's or you can go McDonald's, but if you go Burger King, you're a cop.
Do you like when these nuts drag on your forehead? Oh my gosh, so many yeses in the comments. Oh, you guys. Oh, man.
My God.
So many people
Larry,
like it.
AJ.
So many yeses like when
Rudy,
Wendy's nuts drag on their
Tadashi,
forehead.
Phil.
Oh,
Chris.
got him.
Oh my God, D'Angelo.
G Money says even when just put it in and out. Put it in and out. Wow.
Oh my God.
Speaking though of Wendy's, they did come out with the pumpkin spice frosty. I got to try it.
Dude,
I got to try it.
I haven't had it either. It looks
I am such a
amazing.
basic Mitch when it comes to anything pumpkin related. All right, we got 850 people here, and I'm rocking the Otto family jersey. We got to get some likes going right now because the Otto family's not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy unless we get more likes on this video right now. Jeremy, I want to know from everyone right now where you're watching from. On top of that, got some super chats that are rolling here. And if you ever want to get featured up here on the screen next to Senior Chuggs, which I was looking at the shirt on screen, I think it looks like an Astros color, but then I looked at it, it looks red, which is still, I guess, Astros because...
No. I mean old Astros. Old Astros was
I was
black
talking
and red.
about like bloody and beaten up after them losing the series. Did you see the score of that game? I tweeted at you last night. I don't know if you saw. Did you see?
Lancasin.
What up? Only Aiden can save us. I don't know what to think. I like to be able to sit up here and think that Aidan O'Connell can save the Las Vegas Raiders, but at the end of the day, man, when your head coach is Josh McDaniels, I do not know if it's going to make a difference. And that's my God-honest opinion. Now, don't get me wrong. Jeremy Chuggs and I, we're going to be up here every single week. We're going to be partying. We're going to be having a good time. And when the Raiders play every game day, I don't care if we lose every week, I will cheer for the Raiders every single day. Every day, I will do it.
Recycle Depot said, I'm eating a Frosty right now. Are you eating the pumpkin spice Frosty?
Are you a fries and a Frosty guy? Yes? See, I'm not a fries guy. I don't know. So, if you had a spoon, a fork, and a fry to eat a Frosty, what would you use?
Probably a spoon because if I had one fry and I ate the whole Frosty, at the end, that fry would
It's going to turn into like those...
It would turn into mashed potatoes.
I understand saving the environment, but I hate when somebody gives me one of those like paper straws and halfway through with my drink, I just... You know what I'm talking? You can't even...
Yeah.
It's awful. It's awful. What up, Sideshow Nick?
F them penguins.
Ronald Josh McDonald. Fire them all and can I get them? Raiders!
Wait, before I put this next person on.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
You're about to F around.
Yeah, you don't want to find
You think
out.
you're about to mess around right now on the Raiders Report.
It's a bad man.
Tuesday, midday. This guy's got something to tell you right now.
I'll tell you what.
James Mother effing Lillard.
I've once seen James Lillard kill a man with one of those paper straws.
I don't doubt it.
That's all he needs. You give him a paper straw, they might not allow him into Allegiant Stadium because they're like, sir, that's a weapon.
James.
You can't F with this guy.
Don't F with this guy.
Dave Ziegler is good on contracts, bad on player evaluation. I don't know if he's bad on player evaluation. Again, like, you can evaluate a player, but if they're not put in the right system, I do think that can be a big-time problem. I mean, we saw last week, Tyree Wilson, as shitty as what that game was last week, Wilson got his first sack. He was the highest-graded rookie PFF player. He's showing that he's getting better and better, and I get that people wanted him to perform right away, but this is one of the things that we said on this show where the Raiders planned on having Chandler Jones. They did not plan on having to use Tyree Wilson right away, and now he's getting better and better. I do agree, though. Ziegler has shown that he's a mastermind when it comes to contracts. Also, Raiders-related-ish, because we're playing the Detroit Lions this week, Marvin Jones Jr. just announced that he is stepping away from the team to take care of a personal family matter. So one of the Lions wide receivers stepping away, and now the Lions have just released Marvin Jones Jr. So don't know exactly what's going on there, but since the Raiders play the Lions on Monday Night Football, something to consider. Andy Sheffield, I know.
Dude,
as soon as I said that.
You with names sometimes?
I mean, I should have got it because yesterday I was hanging out with Marsh. We were watching the game last night, and we were talking about, like, batting stances, and he goes, oh, dude, when I used to step out of the box, Sheffield used to go like that, like a little, like when he'd step out of the box.
Coming on the Raiders Report, Andy Sheffield.
Yeah, breaking news. I'm super freaking dyslexic. There's no doubt about it. Super dyslexic. 900 people here.
He's a superhero.
Yeah.
It's super dyslexic.
Not all heroes wear capes, I guess, right? Coming up live here on the Raiders Report.
Some of them wear jerseys backwards.
Could Josh McDaniels get fired? And again, shout out to Rebel. He was rocking backwards jerseys, and to do that in public, I get it, I love it, and I respect the hell out of it. Could Josh McDaniels get fired? For the people that say it's impossible, you definitely need to watch this next show that I got coming up here. What is my plan to fix the Las Vegas Raiders before the NFL trade deadline? 5 steps.
5? That's it?
5 steps. Maybe I might have sprinkled in a few extras, a little bonus material, but you got to pay extra for that. And then I got some Josh McDaniels replacements because I cannot be the person that I am screaming at the top of my lungs, fire Josh McDaniels all the time, and not have a plan B, not have a way to solve the issue. You identify the problem. That's McDaniels. Now, how do you solve it? You're going to have to bring in an interim head coach. So I got the top candidates here. Woodson as general manager. As much as I think the nation would love to have Charles Woodson as GM, Woodson's really, really focusing on his wine, his whiskey business right now. It's thriving. He's happy not being involved.
As Woodson whiskey.
I would be shocked if Woodson did anything Raiders related.
As sweet as strawberry wine.
What up, Raider Muerte? I took my first L in fantasy this week. I needed Moody to give me 4 more points. I was so hurt. I mean, here's your problem. You're relying on the 49ers kicker, first off. I mean, that guy has been booty cheeks.
Cheeks.
He's been cheeks, but I'm also happy that the Minnesota Vikings won. Anytime I can see the Niners lose, it puts a smile on my face. Oh, how do you think this one goes? Adonai Ventura? Adonai, Wendy's chili is fire. So I'm not going to lie to you. When I was a kid, again, when I grew up, middle of nowhere, there was a Wendy's. There was a restaurant called Arthur Treacher's. And those were the 2 restaurants that I could walk to when I used to live at my mom's. I used to always, though, go to Wendy's and get the chili. I agree. It's pretty good. But I liked sweet chili, so I'd put sugar in it. I still do. Yeah, I know. Oh, man. What up, James? Fellas, preference Drake May or Caleb Williams?
I would say I'm Williams.
I know you like Caleb, and I do think Caleb Williams, depending on where he plays in the NFL, is going to determine it. Obviously, same with Drake May. There's something about Drake May that I love because I just think he's got the mentality of a franchise quarterback that I look for. But from an overall scouting standpoint, I'm going to go with Caleb Williams. What up, Sideshow Nick? Today's MVP, Al Davis Ghost, just appeared with the overhead projector. He's firing Joshy for cause. What does that look like? Is that like the bat signal?
Yeah.
It's a bat signal, and it's just
Just Al.
It's just Al, the Al torch. I mean, I would do just about anything if it meant we would fire McDaniels. I would eat the chip.
Would you run a marathon in flip-flops?
Oh, my God. If it meant McDaniels gets fired, a marathon in flip-flops, what's worse, a barefoot marathon or flip-flops? Probably flip-flops, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the blister that you would get on the inside of your toe? My dad calls them foot thongs. Can you imagine, would this be your ass crack then? The blister you'd get on your foot crack? I don't know. It would suck, but yes,
Jacob.
I would. I think personally we need players, coach, someone to truly motivate us in the players. Josh takes no accountability and shows immaturity as a person. I think that we personally, this is one of the things that I didn't like that the Raiders did. Think about the type of coach like Rich Bisaccia, who I think is who you're talking about here, that's more of a player's coach. Somebody that is going to refer to those players as people, as human beings, and treat them as a family. Where Josh McDaniels now is the complete polar opposite, doesn't look at them as people, looks at them as X's and O's, and looks at them as, again, like X's and O's, not real people. He's the type of dude that's going to say, that's number 98. Bisaccia was saying, that's Max Crosby.
We're not talking about hugs and kisses.
Yeah. Chuggs shotgun a beer every time the Lions score. Yikes.
Yeah. It's a no for me, dog.
That's tough. That's tough. And I'm not talking like, I'm not even going to get into that. Coming up live here on the Raiders Report, let's get into some McDaniels, could he be fired report. Also, if anybody wants in on the 50-50 raffle, $10 to enter. You can Venmo me at Mitchell Renz 365. Yesterday, Jeremy, we gave away.
We're going to go $10, but you can get as many entries as you want.
So yesterday, Brandon Jasper, the Great Tuna, won $150. Victor, this past Sunday, won $750. And then, what was our last winner that we had here? Corey won $170. So if you want in, Venmo me at Mitchell Renz 365. I like to have a little bit of fun here. I like to have a little bit of 50-50 fun. That's going to be at the very, very end of today's show. We do have 3 segments on tap. We will go about them here in this order, and throughout the show, if anybody sends in a super, if anybody sends in a question, if Jeremy likes the hashtag Raiders question, and for the new people out there, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you put a question up there that says Raiders move the Raiders back to Oakland at this point, if you want it to be up on screen and not send in a super, you got to add hashtag Raiders. It's the way that our system pulls questions up on to the screen, if that makes sense. Now, if you just automatically send in a super chat, which is usually what we tell people to do, that the way helps you skip the line and you're good to go. So,
all right, here we go with our first segment.
Here we
go.
It's going to be PrizePicks, correct? That is correct.
McDaniels.
If you want Josh McDaniels to get fired, click that like button, because coming up here right now, I'm going to give you a little bit of hope because it might happen sooner rather than later.
McDaniels, you're fired.
You're fired. Could Josh McDaniels be fired? I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up here on today's show, I'm going to dive into the report from Diana Rossini that says there have been some whispers around the league that McDaniels could be fired. And I'll make you this promise. I can't promise you if McDaniels does actually get fired. I can't promise you if the Raiders are going to win. What I will promise you this, you're going to get commitment to excellence every single day on this show. You're going to get a video every single day on this show. And when the Raiders do finally smarten up and fire Josh McDaniels, I will be live here on the Raiders Report for 24 straight hours, partying and having a good time, Oakland style. If you want to join me, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. All right, let's go to the report here from Diana Rossini on Josh McDaniels. There have been whispers around the league that Josh McDaniels could be in trouble if Las Vegas doesn't start winning. So this team is in win-now mode. I know after the Bears Week 7 game where they lost 30-12, there was a lot of people out there wondering, is this team actually trying to tank? They're telling you the Raiders are literally trying to win football games, and they do plan to be aggressive during the NFL trade deadline, which honestly is kind of sad considering how bad they just played against Chicago. But this team is trying to win, and if McDaniels doesn't start trying to win football games, then he might be on the way out. So to me, hearing that he might be fired makes me believe that he is going to be fired, because if Mark Davis wants McDaniels to win football games, I don't know how many games that this Raiders team is going to be able to win with Jimmy Garoppolo or Brian Hoyer in at quarterback. I mean, let's look at the remaining games here. The Raiders have 10 remaining games. You have the Detroit Lions, one of the best teams in the league, Monday Night Football, 5-2 record. Yikes. All right, well, then you got Week 9, Week 10, the New York teams, or I guess East Rutherford teams, at home, 2-5 Giants, and then the 3-3 New York Jets. The Miami Dolphins at 5-2. Good luck. The Kansas City Chiefs. Good luck. Week 14, Minnesota. Minnesota, they've been playing good football. I don't know if you watch them on Monday Night Football. Good luck. Week 15 against the Chargers. I'm not sure what to think about them. Christmas Day, I don't know if McDaniels is going to be giving me coal, but 6-1 doesn't look good. Week 17, the Indianapolis Colts, who beat the Raiders last season. And if there's one team that I can rely on the Raiders beating, it's the Denver Broncos. But at that point, what if that's the Caleb Williams Bowl? I don't know, man. It scares the hell out of me. So my question to you is this. The Raiders have 10 games left. And if the report is if the Raiders don't start winning games, McDaniels could be fired. So how about this? How many games will the Raiders win this season? I want you to let me know down in the comments. This is going to be the add pinned comment, which means when you come across this video, the number one comment that I want you to answer at the very, very top in the comment section is going to be, how many games will the Raiders win this season? Right now, the Silver and Black sit at 3-4, and looking at that remaining schedule of 10 games, if the Raiders decide to roll out Jimmy G, and if they decide to roll out Brian Hoyer, I'm looking at 3 to 4 wins somewhere in that realm, 6-11, 7-10. However, I do believe if you roll with Aidan O'Connell, you might be able to spark a little bit of hope, not only in your team, but also your fan base. Because right now, this Raiders offense could use all the spark it can get. Now, I know my guy Patrick B is not afraid to spark one up here on the Raiders report, but seriously, this needs help. You got total yards per game, 27th in the NFL, pass yards per game. Woo! 20th. Rush yards, last. Points per game, 30th. And then giveaways, you're dead last. There is nothing good about this Raiders offense right now. And until the offense gets it clicking here, I don't care how good your defense plays. And the defense right now is playing on a little bit of an average level, I would say. But if your offense does not get it going, McDaniels will be fired if that report by Diana Rossini does turn out to be true. So here's how you can wake up the Raiders offense. You start Aidan O'Connell. We have seen what Jimmy Garoppolo is. He's not any good. He can't throw the football down the field. I tried to tell you how bad Brian Hoyer was, but hey, I'm just a hater after all. It's time to roll with Aidan. It's time to see what you have, because he might be the future quarterback. I know it's not Jimmy. I know it's not Hoyer. It's time to roll with AOC. Next thing that you could do to potentially wake up the Raiders offense, if Mark Davis says, all right, smarten up, we're not going to fire our head coach because I'm paying him a whole bunch of money, cool. Well, then make somebody else the new play caller. Because I've said this, McDaniels might actually be able to be an OC and not be a head coach. I don't know if that's going to happen. So now if you're like, well, no, he's going to be the head coach, cool. Somebody else has got to start calling plays, because clearly what the Raiders are doing right now, it is not working. When you look at the last 10 games by the Raiders, they have scored over 20 points only 9 times. Guess who the quarterback was? Jarrett Stidham. Yikes. Number 3 is this. You can fire Josh McDaniels. If you can start in O'Connell, if that's not working, new play caller, maybe that's not working, and then here's the other thing. Fire Josh McDaniels. This is going to be something that I am just going to do. I am going to mention that I want the Raiders to fire McDaniels, and if you don't get that from watching this show, from following me on Twitter, from following me on social media, it's time to, maybe you need to wake up, because I want that guy, hasta la vista, baby. Coming up next here on the show is this. My plan to turn up the heat, to turn up the fire McDaniels heat, because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't think that it's going to matter, that are like, Mitch, Davis isn't going to listen to us. The Raiders are going to do what they're going to do. I disagree. To me, the Raiders are already feeling the pressure. The Raiders are already feeling the heat. They have turned off comments on Josh McDaniels' interviews. They have turned off comments on certain posts that relate to McDaniels. Why? They hear us. They see it. And they're already getting a little bit fed up. So coming up, I got my plan to continuously turning up the heat here because we all want Josh McDaniels out of here. But a huge shout out to today's sponsor, PrizePicks. And PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. If anybody wants to play a little bit of fantasy, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Quick withdrawals and easy game play and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Chuggs and I have had a lot of fun this season, winning up to 25 times our money. And all you have to do is select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. Now, I'm just being 100% honest with you. These are my picks for this week for the Raiders game, and I hate them. I hate them because I can sit up here and I can say fire McDaniels, that I don't believe in the Raiders offense, but I know on Monday Night Football, I'm going to be sitting up here on this show with Chuggs. I'm going to be rooting on the Raiders because that's what it's about. Win, lose, or tie, it's Raider Nation till I die. And these are my picks, and I hate them because I'm going to go less on Jacobs. I don't know if he's going to find the end zone. The Raiders have not been a very good team finding the end zone in general. Jared Goff, give me the more on the passing yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, give me the more on the receiving yards, especially now that Marvin Jones isn't going to be a part of this offense. These are my picks, and if you also want to get started, remember that link's going to be available to you guys down in the comments and down in the description of the show, prizepicks.com/CLNS, and use code CLNS to get started right now. Daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, coming up here is my plan to turn up the heat, to turn up the fire Josh McDaniels heat, because I do the show because I want the nation's voice to be heard. I wear people's jerseys backwards because this show is built on the backs of the nation, and from my times hanging out in Oakland, man, like I know this is a passionate fan base, and I want people to know who I'm repping because those are my real ones here. That's my family. So here's how we, as a nation, can turn up the heat. The first thing is this. You boycott going to Raiders games. You can still go out to Vegas. I want you to still go out to Vegas. I want you to hang out with Graphic Raider, myself, Chuggs, and I when we go out to Vegas and we go tailgate up with people. But I'm not going to waste my hard-earned money, and I don't really want you guys to waste your hard-earned money if you're going to go see a shitty product and then you're going to leave and you're going to be upset. Now, if the Raiders drop their prices to like preseason prices, then we can have a little bit of a different discussion. But one of the ways that you're going to tick off Mark Davis, because he said it last year, one of the ways that you're going to tick him off is when he saw all those opposing fan bases take over Allegiant Stadium. There's no way he likes seeing it. And I don't like seeing it either. But at this point, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get McDaniels fired. And to me, it means boycotting Raiders games. Let's go to the next thing that I'm telling Raider Nation to do. Comment fire Josh McDaniels on every post. When the Raiders post something on Twitter, fire Josh McDaniels. When the Raiders post something on Instagram, fire Josh McDaniels. When the Raiders are on YouTube talking about or whatever questions are being answered, fire Josh McDaniels. They have already, it's working. Like, you need to be able to see the fact that it's working. The Raiders have turned comments off during Josh McDaniels' press conferences. That is the easiest way to tell you that they see you, they hear you, and sure, they're going to try to block you out, but there's ways that they simply can't. So every time the Raiders post something, fire Josh McDaniels. Here's the next thing that the nation can do to be heard. You can sign the Fire Josh McDaniels petition, which is funny to me, and I put it out on my Twitter. If you guys want to go check it out, again, it's at Mitchell Renz 365. I did not create this. Some Raider fan named Chad, so shout out to Chad for being a real one. Last time I checked, this petition had over 18,000 signatures. There's a lot more people here. Shit, man, I got 150,000 subscribers on this show. If everybody goes over there and signs that petition, it's just another way that we are being heard. And you know what? Maybe it doesn't make a difference. Maybe it doesn't ever make a difference. And I can't guarantee you that it will. But I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit anywhere and not try. That's not who I am. If I believe that anything that I possibly do can help achieve a goal that I'm trying to do, I'm going to try. And if you don't try, then you can't complain. Same way as this. If you don't sign the petition, if you don't put your best foot forward, you're the same people where if you don't vote for the president, you can't bitch and moan that you didn't have the right candidate. You didn't vote. Here's the same thing. Put your name up there. So if you went and signed this petition, I want you to spam me below because I know that you're a real one here. You're rocking with me. You're riding with me. I want the Raiders to be successful. I just don't think that it can happen with McDaniels. I said it before they hired him. I said it last season. I said I'd keep my cool this offseason, but you know what, man? Enough is enough. I'm not getting any younger. There's nothing more valuable in life than time, and every single second that Josh McDaniels is the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, we are wasting time. So if you've signed the petition, spam me down below. And if you want to sign the petition, go to my Twitter, at Mitchell Renz 365. And look at that. Jeremy's a real one. He just put the link down below in the live comments for anybody that wants to click on that bad boy, save it for later, go sign your name. Let's go to the next thing here. I want more Fire McDaniel signs. And I know last season the Raiders kicked people out of the stadium for having McDaniels fire signs. Well, here's the thing. If you're boycotting the games, the Raiders can't kick you out of a street. You're allowed to have a sign in the street. You're allowed to be public. But here's my other thing. I want people to be like Raider Ralph here. So I had this video sent to me, and I've had a bunch of Fire McDaniels videos sent to me in the past, but I love this. Like, to me, this is a Raider fan, and I get it. He went during the Aces rally. If you're in Las Vegas, the Aces have won a title. The Golden Knights have won a title. The Raiders are just kind of sitting back watching all these people win titles, and Mark Davis is dancing around like he's super happy, and I want him to be happy about the Aces. But, let's not forget about the Raiders and the dumpster fire that you have created. So here is one of the ways that your voice can be heard. And when you listen to this video, I'm not allowed to play the audio because I don't own the audio. But when you listen to him, listen to what Mark Davis says. Because it honestly sounds like he hears the nation. Because you can tell Davis is frustrated. He's not happy. There's been reports out there that Davis is clearly not happy. And there's no way that he can be happy. Nobody likes to feel that they're wasting their money. And Mark Davis right now looks out onto that field and feels like he's wasting his money. He's frustrated. He's getting the backlash. He's sick and tired of it because right now the Raiders are the laughingstock. And this guy's to blame. Let's go to the final thing that Raider fans can do to turn up the heat here a little bit. Share Fire McDaniels content. If I make a video, which obviously I'm making right now, that's pro getting rid of McDaniels, share it. Share it on Twitter. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Instagram. Click the share button. Select the Twitter icon. Click post to Twitter. Tag me at Mitchell Renz 365. If Graphic Raider shares Fire McDaniels content, share it. If Raider Cody, share it. If Hondo, share it. If Wasted, share it. If Hammer, share. I want you to share the content. If it's Twitter, I don't care where it's coming from. I want our voice to be heard. One person can't do it. I can't do it alone. Chuggs can't do it alone. Raphael can't do it alone. Tristan can't do it alone. Tadashi, Jeremy Wiley, Adam Sweeney can't do it alone. Big Island can't do it alone. But if we're going to sit up here and say that we're the best fans in the NFL, if we're going to sit up here and say that we're the best fans in the world, if we're going to call ourselves Raider Nation, it's time to act like it. I know in years past, the nation has been split, right? There's the Derek Carr lovers, and then there's the Kardashians. There's people that like, I don't know, the certain moves that a team's making, whatever. I really truly believe that the nation as a whole right now is rallying behind the idea that we don't want McDaniels as a head coach. I put out a poll the other day on Twitter. 98%, over 6,000 votes, at 98% did not want Josh McDaniels as a head coach. I think the other 2% was probably McDaniels and a few of his buddies and a few of the burner accounts that he's made. But I believe I've done this show long enough that this is the first time the nation is this together. It's time to act like it. It's time to act like a family. If you want McDaniels out, it's time to step up to the plate here and put a little bit of work in. So always remember, where there is smoke, there is fire. And that is a very common thing that I like to say on this show because I believe it. I believe it. Whether it's Raiders stuff, whether it's life in general, when there are rumors and when there's a lot of smoke, there is fire that starts to roll up here. So here's the fact. Here's me telling you that the smoke is growing. There's a report from Diana Rossini, a well-credited NFL insider, that whispers around the league are that if the Raiders don't start winning, Josh McDaniels could be fired. That's number one. I told you this yesterday, that players told me that the locker room is split. I saw the conflicting report from Hondo Carpenter that he put out today, but Hondo must not have talked to the players that I talked to. I am looking out at all of you right now. Every quote that you saw yesterday was from a Raiders player. Cold hard fact. I'm telling you. The Raiders players that I talked to we're not happy with the current locker room. Whispers around the league, players right now are a little bit split. And then Mark Davis is getting frustrated. So frustrated that he's turning comments off on Raiders posts that are around Josh McDaniels. When McDaniels speaks to the media, turning it off. The smoke is growing. Your voice is being heard. But we just started this marathon. We're just getting going. You can't finish now. I need everybody to stay strong here. Keep it going. And if you want Josh McDaniels to get fired, always remember, we're here in a nation. We can have a loud voice together. It's time to get it going. That's all I got for you guys today. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. And remember, when the Raiders do finally smarten up and fire the clown, live here on this show, 24 straight hours. Bang! How likely is it that the Raiders fire Josh McDaniels? I want you to scale it from me 1 to 10. I know we asked this question a little bit earlier, but hey, got some new people here in the building. And speaking of some people here in the building, Jeremy, got a few people that are in.
Oh, yeah?
Got a few people that are in right now. So if you sent me $10 Venmo, you have a chance to get in here. I'm going to read these names off to you, Chuggs, and then I'm going to give some shout-outs here to the people, answering the question that's up on screen. Nicolaz, you in?
You in.
Kim W, in.
In.
Richard D, in. Derek E, in. And then I think there was one more. Luis.
In.
In. We got 5 people in, which means right now winner gets $25. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, OB Boogie says, me, I signed the petition. Ohi Da God, 100. Charles Pasco, 10. Brandon Montoya, 10. And then I see Blue Richards, 6. Let's go to is it Al?
Al Klimish.
Al Klimish. Chuggs, do yourself a favor and give yourself a spooky background for Halloween. Zeke's can stay. McDummy needs to go. And Raiders! Oh, yeah. It's the Raiders D. Spooky season background.
Spooky.
We might be able to do something like that. I think it'd be kind of cool if we could figure out how to put, remember how last year we used to do, tweet at us, real one or whatever. Oh, I forget what it was, where we tweet and we'd put their picture on. What if we, did that and made that the background? Is that possible or no? It's a pain?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's...
Huh?
Well, no, if we did it, a bunch of times just over and over and over again. Possible, but I don't want it to be a pain. It's all good. Let's go to Sirquan.
Well, he's saying from my background.
Yeah. Sirquan.
Yeah.
How do we feel about Rob Ryan as the interim head coach? Also, what do we do at offensive coordinator? Because just like Brandon Bolden, I have no clue what purpose Lombardi is serving. It's kind of funny here, Sirquan. I'm going to give you a show coming up here that's going to be some interim head coach candidates if the Raiders do move on from McDaniels. And I have Rob Ryan on this show, so I don't want to give away too much information, which I hate saying that because you took time out of your day to super chat. But I do think Rob Ryan is one of the top candidates that the Raiders would have to look at as that interim head coach. And I agree with you. I don't know what Mick Lombardi does. I don't know what Brandon Bolden's doing. There are 10 to 12 coaches, players on this roster that you can't tell me otherwise. You can't tell me otherwise. Are only on this team because they're friends with McDaniels. You can't tell me anything else.
The funny thing about that G Money and Aries Gleam.
What?
We actually do have shirts.
What? Oh, McDaniel shirts?
Mm-hmm.
We do have McDaniel shirts. It's very, very true. It's very, very true.
If you want to check them out, chatsports.com/corn.
Chatsports.com/corn if you want your Josh McDaniels Eats Corn the Long Way shirt. Let's go to Mount Raider. More rolling in here from Brandon Jesper. You guessed it. Here's another shout out for locals. Locals. For the best content, personal interactions, and more live shows. F. McClown. If anybody wants to join our locals community, it's RaidersReport.locals.com. I go live every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time answering a lot of questions there from the nation. Let's go to HR.
I don't agree with this.
Boycott Raiders forever. No. And again, I don't even like telling people not to go to the games because I'll admit, to me, don't get me wrong, going to football games is fun, and you obviously want your team to win. However, I remember a lot more of like the experiences and like in the memories that you have at those games, not so much the score. The reason, though, why I'm telling people to boycott now is because that's going to impact Mark Davis's pocket. It's going to impact the way that he feels about what he's doing to the nation right now because I know he doesn't want to see a stadium filled with the opposing fan base. No way. What up, Shady Raider? How many different players gave you those quotes about Josh McDaniels? I'm not going to answer that, Shady. All I can tell you is that multiple Raiders players are not happy with the current state of the Raiders right now, and if you want to go check out the video, you can. You're not the first person to ask me, and I know you're not going to be the last one, but here's the thing with sources. Raiders players will not talk to me if I give any more information than I already have, and I like to keep the friendships that I have been able to build, and I want to be able to continue to get the quotes that I got from those players. What up, Miguel? If we do get rid of McDummy, who should we go for? Jim from Michigan. I mean, there's no doubt that Jim Harbaugh is going to be one of the top McDaniels replacement candidates out there in 2024, though I'm kind of curious if Harbaugh goes more of the Chicago Bears route. I know, like, there's some Bears people out there that are going to be targeting him. But then there's also this, Mark Davis and Harbaugh, they go way back. Harbaugh used to work for the Las Vegas Raiders. I forget what year it was. It was many, many years ago. It's like where he got started. But him and Mark Davis have an incredible relationship. I will admit, I love Harbaugh as a head coach candidate. He was one of my top candidates last season. But there are so many, and I mean so many good candidates for next year. I'm excited. And in fact, I might say my top candidate out there from an offensive standpoint, the Raiders are going to be going up against him this weekend, and Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Let's go to Mason Blue Raider. What about Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator from Michigan? He has NFL experience since he was the coordinator for the Ravens and was recommended to Jim by John. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I've talked about Minter many times because we have a Michigan show here at Chat Sports, which, if you don't know that already, please go check it out. It's one of our more popular shows. There's better candidates out there, and if I'm Minter, with all the shit going on right now around Harbaugh, if I'm Minter, I think I might have a shot to be the new Michigan head coach because from what it sounds like, Harbaugh won't be there next year when you listen to a lot of the reports going on, and Minter did a pretty damn good job when he had to serve as the interim head coach this year for Michigan for those first 4 games. So to me, if I'm Minter, man, I'm gonna hunker down there in Michigan. What up, Puffy Clouds? First time super chat. Josh McDaniels, 37.5 win percentage is a joke. It's not great.
It's not even a funny one.
It's definitely not great. When you're 9-15 as the Raiders head coach, and then I want to say at this point in his last, 14? I mean, you're looking at 14 and, off the top of my head, like 14-35 in his last 49 games that he's coached, because he started 6-0, got caught cheating.
Not even a good joke.
It's not. It's not a good joke. It's not. Let's go to Bruce. Bruce, I think this is what people think my last name is. Mark Davis, sell the team, hire Deion Sanders for coach. Now do it now. Raiders. Here's the problem. I disagree with this take.
And this is what I think about Deion Sanders. He is an insanely good motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Head coach, X's and O's guy, which you need that in the NFL. I don't think he's there.
I agree with you in that regard as well. Like, to me,
when you look at him against, we watched the game together against Oregon.
Yeah.
I mean, no adjustments made. Nothing he was able to do worked on offense or defense.
I think Colorado is the worst defense in FBS right now, like actually by a statistics standpoint. But you got to think about what Deion is, and you're right. He's a motivational speaker. To me, Deion he's changing the college football game, and he's going to be a very successful college football coach. But his selling point, the way he talks, the way that he rallies guys together, it's more for the 17-year-old guy in high school, the 18-year-old boy in high school looking to go somewhere And Dion can look at them and go, hey, you want to get to the league? I can get you there. And that's his selling point. Dion is built for college football. He's going to stay in college football. And if he doesn't, I think he's really going to regret doing that move.
Yeah.
Let's go to Kendrell Riggins, more of Mitch McClown. Oh, man, I'll tell you this. It was hot in there. I felt...
What are you talking about?
Very true. Very true. I felt like I was like hopped in a time machine 30 years ago, right when I was born. It's kind of how I felt when I came out of that thing. Sweaty.
Buzz O'Mati.
What up, my brother? Who will be the GM if and when we get rid of Josh McDaniels? It's a good question, and I think it really comes down to what the Raiders want to do in terms of, do you decide to keep Dave Ziegler and hire another like different type of head coach? Because if you're going to keep Ziegler, I think then some of your candidates are like guys like Brian Flores, maybe like a Gerard Mayo. You go that route that already have that connection with Ziegler. If you decide to, hey, we're cleaning house, like we're just getting rid of everyone, I'll make videos around GM replacements because did it before and I'll do it again.
I feel like you can't go wrong trying to poach one of the Eagles front office, like assistant GMs, director of football operations, somewhere in that, because, I mean, you look at the Browns. They hired somebody from that Howie Roseman group.
Be aggressive.
Look, the Browns are really good now.
They're definitely doing better. I mean, they traded for the wrong QB, which is really biting them in the ass. I mean, but think about what they gave up and how much they paid Deshaun Watson, and look at how different the Browns and the Broncos are right now. It's very, very different situations, but I'll make a video on this no matter what ends up going down. Let's go to Yo Raider. Just in, guys. Not sure if anyone has talked about this, but I was at the game. I was in row 5 behind the Raiders bench. Nobody was around McDaniels the whole game. Players, coaches, nobody. Never seen that before.
With a head coach.
With a head coach. Again, I'm not really going to speak on that. I don't know the entire ins and outs of what that exact moment had happened, but it was probably frustration, right? Like, there's no way you can watch that game.
Daniel Caps-Keenan, I'm telling you.
What?
Philly stole Swift and Byard.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. But to me, though, I know that there's the locker room right now is butting heads. And I said it in my video yesterday. This is a cold, hard fact. There are players in that locker room that feel like this coaching staff is not putting them in the best position. And there are players that would not be upset if the Raiders ended up firing Josh McDaniels. And there are players that feel like this team picks favorites, and no matter what you do, it doesn't matter because they're always just going to have their favorites. And it's a frustrating time, I know, for a lot of players. I mean, for players to open up to me especially, I mean, I have good relationships with a lot of the guys that I talk to, but still, to even say that to me just tells me how frustrated they are, and it shouldn't surprise anyone, right? Like, again, I'm looking at the Hondo report, and maybe Hondo did talk to a player that said everything that Hondo put out there. I'm not calling him a liar. I'm simply saying when you ask one person to tell the entire story, I don't think that that's fully telling the entire story, right? There's two sides to everything. The guys that I talked to were not happy, and I don't know why they would lie to me about the Raiders locker room being divided right now. It's divided. Whether people are going to admit that or not,
well, the thing is, if a couple people say it's divided and a couple people don't, that in itself means it's divided.
Yeah, and I mean, you want the ultimate proof. I mean, obviously I did not talk to Devontae Adams. I'm not trying to say that at all. I did not talk to Devontae. But the week before that, Devontae leaves the locker room, doesn't say hi to anybody, leaves in anger after a Raiders win. I mean, that's proof in itself that there is something not going right now.
If somebody was like, yo, Chuggs, are you and Mitch arguing right now? And I said no and you said yes, then we would be arguing.
Yeah. Also to Isaac Ramirez, to the guy saying there's no sound. Unfortunately for you, on my screen in front of me, I have my audio levels, and I can tell that they're bouncing. So that joke, unfortunately for you, doesn't work for us on here. So if everybody wants to throw a few L's in the comment down there to Isaac, it's a good try. But you probably would have got us a few years ago, but now that we have the audio levels right in front of us, it's not going to happen. Maybe, Venom. I don't know. Maybe. What up, RNR67?
That'd be a crazy way to find out.
It would be.
I cannot hear this show.
Oh, my God. I hate even laughing at that. Mick
McSkidmark
needs to go. He's stained this organization enough. This might be one of my favorite nicknames I've seen. Are the Pats paying him to dismantle and destroy the Raiders? If so, they're the only people getting their money's worth. I don't think that the Patriots are doing this. I just think we've seen it time and time again. Josh McDaniels creates a plan. A lot of times that plan's not very good. And when that plan doesn't go accordingly, he doesn't deviate from the plan. He sticks with it. Like exactly what Josh McDaniels is doing now is exactly what he did with the Denver Broncos. Like it's crazy, but yet it's not that hard to believe that McDaniels is trying to do the exact same thing just over and over and over again. It's laughable at this point. And if I was McDaniels and if I was somebody close to Josh, I would honestly go up to him and say, hey, man, you're not cut out to do this. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not cut out to be a brain surgeon. I wouldn't try to perform brain surgery on people because I know I can't do it. Josh McDaniels is not cut out to be a head coach. Can he be a coordinator? Sure, I actually do believe that. I think he can be a coordinator. But not everybody is built to be a head coach, just like not everybody is built to be a brain surgeon. I mean, my dad's, he builds houses and he builds a whole bunch of, I can't do it. That's okay. I know that I can't do it. If I was close to McDaniels or if somebody was close to him, I'd say, hey, man, for your own personal well-being, for your own mental health, step down as the head coach of the Raiders. You can't do it. You're not built for it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you don't have what it takes to be a successful head coach. Kent,
very important B.
If Brady becomes part owner, what does that do for McDaniels' future and coaches? Brady's going to become partial owner sooner rather than later, and I do think it's a good move. To me, if you want my bold, I don't even know if it's a bold prediction for 10, 15 years down the line, bringing on a guy like Tom Brady is exactly like what the Dodgers did with Magic Johnson, and they brought in somebody who is very, very popular in that city. Now, I get it. Tom Brady's not very popular amongst Raider fans, but you do have to be able to respect the fact that Tom Brady's probably the greatest of all time. But Brady's also going to be able to bring people in who can probably throw a whole bunch of money together. And
Look what the Rangers did.
Who?
Look what the Rangers did.
I mean, a lot of NFL teams a lot of sports teams are starting to do it.
Brought in Chris Young.
They bring in people that have respect. And I get Mark Davis has a lot of money, but he doesn't have respect from the NFL world because he's never done anything. So bringing in Brady, they're going to be able to form a good team. I do believe that.
Chuggs, Mitch, with this sorry-ass offense and the games that we got coming up, we ain't winning any more games under McDingle's shitty offense.
You know, I like to believe that in the NFL, you're going to run into a win or two just because it's the NFL. The Ravens beat the Detroit Lions 38-6. Like, there's the Minnesota Vikings beat the San Francisco 49ers. You play the game, right? Last season, the Indianapolis Colts, they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. We see it every week. We see it every year. There's always a team where you're like, I can't believe they won. The Raiders are going to run into a few of those games this season. And they have a few teams that they can beat. They can beat the Giants. They can beat the New York Jets. They can beat the Colts. We've already beaten the Denver Broncos. You can beat the Chargers. There are a lot of games where this team can still win. The schedule's not that difficult. However, I don't have any confidence in this offense because I don't have any confidence in McDaniels. I hear you there. What up, Bruce? Like the Philadelphia coach or someone from Philadelphia Eagles, as long as they do defense, I think we ought to be blitzing at least 1 to 2 times per set of downs like the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings did try to get after Brock Purdy yesterday, and if I'm the Raiders here, I'm also going to try to put a lot more pressure. It's what I would do, but you got to give a lot of credit to Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter right now, he might be the defensive player of the year, the way that he's been playing. He's been playing out of his freaking mind, and I was talking to our Vikings host today about Hunter, and he's like, honestly, I don't think that he's going to get traded now, which sucks for the Raiders if they were actually trying to go out there and get him. But
honestly, if you're looking for a defensive coach, though, I know I've said it a couple times, but I think Dan Quinn might be a really good
Dan
option.
Quinn probably is going to get another shot. However, if you're Dan Quinn, is being the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, that's better than a lot of head coaching jobs.
I don't think he goes because I think he's in a win-win as the DC as the Cowboys because if they keep on doing good, then he gets more coaching opportunities elsewhere.
Sure.
And if they end up firing Mike McCarthy, I think he's the next Dallas Cowboys head coach.
Sure. Yeah, you're probably not wrong there. Also, Chuggs, I got a few more people here in our 50-50 raffle. Remember, $10 Venmo to get in. We did say you could get multiple entries if you want. So, Jeffrey, you in, and then Justine wanted 2 of them. Those Justine, and then 2 of them in for Trace. So, right now, as it stands, we have 10 people.
Rob, Mitch,
Winner gets 50.
I called Olivia Martinez on your cell, and she knows the Raiders. She wouldn't comment about McDaniels for head coach. I would love to have JT O'Sullivan. Don't know what that means.
Yeah, Rob, I'm not really sure where we're going here. I mean, if you're trying to give me extra connections, I'll always take extra connections. I love to talk to people. I mean, that's, I think, what I do best. But thanks. First time super chat. What up, Puffy? The sad thing is Adams is wasting his career right now.
Oh, Rob says I called her on my cell.
Oh, okay. Rob called her on his cell. I mean, I was going to say, I'm kind of all over the place with that one, Rob. But, hey, any help that you can offer, we would obviously love it. I agree that Adams is wasting his career, but he is making his pockets a lot heavier, and maybe that's the glass half full look at it, right? What up, Steve?
There's a Texans guy that was talking about a trade.
Bring back Reggie McKenzie as GM. Was good with money, contracts, and scouting. Bring in Brian Flores as head coach. We need a defensive-minded coach. I don't 100% agree with the idea of defensive-minded coach. I still think in today's NFL, defense sure helps, but offense is what's really going to carry teams, and it's an offensive-minded league. So to me personally, I'd actually still rather have an offensive-minded head coach. I don't mind the idea of having Brian Flores as a head coach, though. I do think that he kind of got scapegoated out of Miami. But in terms of Reggie McKenzie back, no. I'm gonna hard pass on that. I'm not going to agree with everything that you said there. Yes, McKenzie had a good draft in 2014, but I also know that he did not do a lot of things correctly on top of that. Like, one thing that I love about Raider Nation is they always go back to the well, and what do I mean by that? The amount of people are like, let's bring back, I don't know, let's bring back John Gruden. Let's bring back Reggie McKenzie. Let's bring back Jack Del Rio. Like, let's bring back Musgrave. I mean, the amount of let's bring them back. Why don't we keep moving forward? Like, there's other good coaches. Like, there's other good candidates out there. That's what I'm going to say.
Also,
what?
In Rob's super chat, he asked about JT O'Sullivan as the next head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems like a former. I knew I heard the name before. Former backup quarterback in the NFL for multiple years, but he's not currently a coach. He's like a YouTube analyst guy, like breaks down film and stuff.
QB guy.
I don't think you can't go that way. You have to have somebody who has coaching experience.
If you're going to hire a YouTuber, I'm going to be upset if it's not me. What up, Victor? Watch the vid of a fan confronting Davis at the Aces parade. Are you talking about?
He's talking about the one we talked about.
And I don't know how to feel about Caleb Williams anymore. A lot of diva things starting to come out. I mean, if you didn't know that Caleb Williams was a diva, then you didn't really follow Caleb Williams all that much. Like, I don't want a quarterback that paints his fingernails and says, F Utah. That's not the QB that I want. I get it. He's an incredible athlete. He's got a lot of intangibles, but that type of mentality, you need to have skills. And to get away, to be a successful NFL quarterback, you need to have skills. I'm not saying that. But you need to have this up here. And Caleb Williams does not seem very mentally strong up here yet. He can obviously learn it. What up, Daniel? Left field pick, Henry Burris, longtime quarterback, Grey Cup, including one at age 42, offensive assistant with the Jags after Urban's departure, fixed Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk. I don't know if he fixed Trevor Lawrence. I do think that Trevor Lawrence just a good freaking quarterback's got a lot more talent.
That's a deep pull, Daniel.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Daniel. I love being able to learn about new people. I will do some more homework on Henry Burris. I'm not going to sit up here and say it's a bad hire when I don't really know all that much about the guy. I will do more homework on him. Where I disagree is that he fixed Lawrence. I mean, I think having a guy like Calvin Ridley, Travis Etienne's been playing a lot better. Just a better overall offense that he's in right now. And
your head coach isn't kicking people.
Correct. Which I love the Jags head coach. What up, Kay? We need a Howie frickin' Roseman type GM, but who?
I would say somebody who works for Howie Roseman.
I want somebody aggressive because Howie's not afraid to make shit happen. And in the NFL and in life, you got to make shit happen. You have to be the aggressor. If you're just going to sit back and in a sports-driven, in any job that you do, I don't find it too often where you can just sit back and be like,
I do have to
we'll
say,
let it happen.
Howie Roseman with the Raiders would put in some work because for a GM like Howie Roseman, you have to have full trust from ownership. And I think good, bad, or indifferent, sometimes it bites him in the ass. I think Mark Davis gives a ton of trust to his GMs and coaches.
Yep.
So if Howie Roseman was able to come over to the Raiders and work under Mark Davis, I think Mark Davis would be like, yeah, do whatever you – I don't care. Do what you need to do. Whatever you want to do, I'm good with.
Yeah. We'll see. Let's go to Raider Nation. What's the chances we can get Jim Harbaugh? Harbaugh, to me, when you listen to a lot of people around the college football realm, it does not sound like Harbaugh's going to be back at Michigan. I think it was Paul Feinbaum said that he doesn't think that Harbaugh's going to be back. And when Feinbaum's going out there saying stuff like that, you should listen. There's a chance. If you were to ask me right now, Mitch, what is the most likely GM and head coaching combo that could end up going down, from an odds maker standpoint? If they move on from Ziegler, I think Louis Riddick will definitely be up there. And then even, Harbaugh, there's a chance. He would definitely make my list, and he's going to be on everybody's list because he's a good head coach. What up, Trevor? Using a Ouija board to channel the spirit of Madden would be better than Josh McDaniels. If we ran Ouija Ask Madden, we'd have more success. The Raiders this past week with Brian Hoyer, their longest pass attempt was 21 yards. You're not going to win in the NFL if you're only throwing within 20 yards of the field.
John Michael Cipriano music, make Rob Ryan interim immediately. Not a huge fan of him, but he's better than McDaniels.
I think anybody's better than McDaniels, and that's the sad part. People are like, oh, well, who are you going to hire as an interim head coach? Name somebody better. Name somebody better. Name somebody better. What up, JR65? Just saw a post about the Titans that everyone is available. Do you think that the Raiders should call for Jeffrey Simmons? Raiders should. McDaniels back to New England. Would I love to have Jeffrey Simmons on this team? Yes, he's arguably one of the best defensive tackles in the league. However, if I was going to do that, I'd reach out to Simmons' agent. So, I know me and Graf, we're good friends with Jeffrey Simmons' agent, Paul. He lives, kind of down here in this area that we're at. Gone out with him a few times for some drinks. Really, really cool dude. I went to the Kevin Hart comedy show with him. That's probably, a year ago at this point. But we've been like, yo, bro, can you get Jeffrey here to Las Vegas? He said he's going to do best for his client. So I'll see what I can do. I'll reach out. I'll put some feelers out there. I'll text Paul after the show and see if maybe we can get Jeffrey Simmons. Right. I do need to change my jersey. Also, Andy wants 2 entries. So right now, 12 people are in for our 50-50 raffle. You can get multiple entries. $10 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Make sure you send it to me, not the imposter on Venmo. It's got a picture of Jeremy and I with Brandon Jasper in the background. Only 1 L. Send it to me. But right now, 12 people in, which means winner gets 60. Is that how that math works? $60. Sounds good. All right, Chuggs, take it away.
All right. Get in for our 50-50 raffle. Got a different race today. Yeah, got a different race today. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this one. I'm changing it up. We're doing a little bit of a scary race. Spooky, scary race. Jeffrey Kreischer says, hey, Trizzy, you look just like Chuggs. Appreciate that. I'm going to take that as a compliment. Oh, yeah, that is.
Patrick B., you in. 13 people in now. Patrick B. I'm back. I'm back. Feeling good. I know Michael just said, I'm I'm going to do some research to find the complete record of the Patriot way with all the head coaches. The Patriot way has never worked without Tom Brady. It is unbelievable how bad the Patriot way is without Tom Brady.
All right, without further ado.
Also, I see Tuna in, Robert in, and then Tim in. And now we're getting some more here, Chuck. So hang on a second here on this 50-50 raffle, y'all. So the people, I got Jeffrey, I got Derek, Richard, Kim, Nico, Lewis, Justine, Trace, Andy, Patrick, the Great Tuna, Robert, Tim. I'm going to refresh it again. We got Martin, Fleet in, Sean Baker in, and then Raymond in, Raider Josh in.
All righty.
Let me just refresh one more time here. Yep, and yep. Coming up next here on the show is going to be my 5-step plan. My 5-step plan to fix the Raiders before the NFL trade deadline. I hope you guys like what we have in store. Did a lot of hard research on this one, so please stay tuned. I'm going to try to fix the Raiders coming up here on the Raiders Report. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Today's show is presented by Panda Sups. Panda Sups is owned and operated by a diehard Raider fan, and if you use code FIREJOSH, you're going to save 25% off at pandasups.com. I recommend their protein. They just released 2 awesome new flavors that I know you guys are going to love. So coming up here on today's show is my 5-step plan on how to fix the Las Vegas Raiders before the NFL trade deadline. If you don't know when the deadline is, it's on October 31st. Spooky Halloween, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Jeremy Chuggs and I, we're going to be live leading up to the NFL deadline. Raiders play Monday Night Football next day. NFL trade deadline. We're going to be live here, so make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're watching in case the Raiders decide to make a trade. The first thing that the Raiders have to do to fix themselves, you need to fire Josh McDaniels. I know some of you are like, holy shit, Mitch, I never would have guessed that that's what you were going to say. Yes, you need to fix this team. How do you do it? You start off by firing the guy who's the head coach, and you continue to make this ship try to run as best as possible. Let's face it, the Raiders' offense, it's offensive. I mean, if this was back in 2020 during cancel culture time, this Raiders' offense would have been canceled because of how offensive it is. I mean, look at these numbers here. This is disgusting. Giveaways, last. Rushing yards per game, last. Passing yards per game, 20th. I mean, am I looking at Derek Carr's defenses with the Raiders since 2014 where nothing's in the top 20? This is embarrassing, especially when you consider the fact of how much money was spent on the offense this season. And when you consider the fact that you have an offensive guru as your head coach. Here's the other part. It's been bad this season. It was also bad to end last season. The Raiders have failed to score 20 points in 9 of their last 10 games. The only time that the Raiders scored more than 20 points was with, guess who at QB? Jarrett Stidham. Jarrett Stidham was the last Raiders quarterback to put up 20 points with Josh McDaniels' system. It has been absolutely positively a joke, and that's what you need to do. Step number 2 on how to fix the Raiders. Fire Josh McDaniels. You're going to see a trend on today's show. The Raiders haven't gotten better. They have gotten worse since hiring the clown. They have. Back in 2021, they were 10-7. They made a playoff push. And yeah, maybe they weren't exactly a playoff team. They were 6-7, won 4 games in a row, got in. But you know what? They got in. Since hiring McDaniels, the Raiders are 9-15. Under Rich Bisaccia, they were 7-5. This team does not play for McDaniels. And you can say what you want, but I've watched this team long enough. And if you think that this team plays for McDaniels, you are lying to yourself. Let's go to step number 3 on my plan here on how to fix the Las Vegas Raiders. Step number 1, fire Josh McDaniels. Step number 2, fire Josh McDaniels. Step number 3, you fire Josh McDaniels. McDaniels has made the Raiders locker room divided. I reported on Monday that I talked to multiple Raiders players, and every quote that is in this video that you're about to see up here on screen, and I told you, every quote in this video is from a Raiders player. Cold hard fact for Just Win Babies. Now, I saw Hondo Carpenter reported that the player that he talked to said that it isn't divided. That's fine. I'm going to read the smoke. I'm going to read what people told me, Raiders players told me. They're not happy right now. You saw Devontae Adams, after a win, leave angrily from the Raiders locker room. You saw Marcus Peters a few weeks ago like a post about firing Josh McDaniels. If you don't think that there are Raiders players in that locker room that do not like this coaching staff and do not believe in this clown, then you are lying to yourself. It's another reason to fire the clown. And here's another reason to hit that subscribe button. Once the Raiders smarten up and finally do realize, man, we're just moving backwards with this guy, and they fire him, 24-hour live show here on the Raiders Report. Jeremy even looked at me today and he goes, Mitch, what are you going to do for the show? I don't have a plan. I'm just going to celebrate. I'm going to get wild. It's going to be something like you've never seen before. If the Raiders fire Josh McDaniels, 24-hour live stream here on the Raiders Report, I want you to buckle up and I want you to watch. Let's go to the fourth step here on my plan to fix the Raiders. You guessed it. Fire Josh McDaniels. Now, why should this one? McDaniels can't make adjustments, and he always gets out-coached. Like, when you think about what he did in Denver, it didn't work in Denver. All right, so let's try to do exactly what I did in Denver to get myself fired, and now I'm going to try to do it with the Raiders. Ah, shit, it's not working. Okay, well, what about the in-game adjustments? You see it. First quarter, the Raiders do something. After that, they don't do much. When you think about the entire McDaniels Raiders tenure in 24 games, it's laughable. This season, luckily, we haven't blown any 10-point leads. Do you know why? We haven't had any. 5 double-digit lead blown last season. The amount of games that this Raiders team blew last year because they couldn't make adjustments in the second half hasn't changed. The Raiders lost to Jeff Saturday when he was coaching high school football a few days, and the Colts go, you know what? We're just going to bring in Jeff Saturday, and he outcoached Josh McDaniels. Then, this past week, you lost to a D2 quarterback in Tyson Bagent. That can't happen. It's only the second time in the last 50 years that a Division II quarterback won. Then you lost to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield wasn't even on an NFL team. The Rams signed him, give him 3 days practice, and you blow a 16-3 lead to Baker Mayfield. And now you got this. Raiders players calling him out. I'm not ever going to tell you the players that told me the quotes that they did, unless the players tell me that I can, which I'm kind of hoping ends up happening once the Raiders finally move on from McDaniels. But when you have all these things happening, and the same shit happened when he was with the Broncos. Wake up, McDaniels. Wake up, Mark Davis. What you're doing, it's not working. And then my final step, and the most important step to my plan here to fix the Las Vegas Raiders. Fire Josh McDaniels. You need to get rid of this guy. He can't get it done. He's never going to get it done. What he did in Denver, he's doing right now to the Raiders. McDaniels has one plan, and that plan is whatever he draws up. And even if that plan doesn't work, he continues to go with it. He's got such a big God complex. He's got such I'm the smartest guy in the room complex that even when it's not working, he just continues to do it. That is the definition of insanity. Josh McDaniels must be clinically insane because he just keeps doing it over and over and over again. The bottom line is this, and this is why I made this show. If Josh McDaniels is the head coach, the Raiders will never be successful. I said it 2.5 years ago. I made a video on it last year about why Mark Davis shouldn't trust Josh McDaniels to fix the Raiders, and anybody out there that thought that McDaniels was going to be a good coach, I hate to tell you, you probably didn't watch this show. But that's the plan. The plan is this. You can't start a plan. You literally can't. You can't try to fix the Raiders unless you get rid of this guy. This is the number one step. Now, I know there's some people out there like, Mitch, did you really do a 5-step plan and all 5 are fire McDaniels? Yes, I did. However, I have some real steps coming up here on the show because I did want to be able to provide you guys with some other types of content. But that's the plan. The first thing that you need to do if you plan to fix the Las Vegas Raiders, it's this. You need to move on from them. And if you want the Raiders to fire McDaniels, I want you to click that like button right now. Speaking of something that you're also going to like, remember, today's show is presented by Panda Sups. And Panda Sups, man, always trying to hook up the nation. Make sure that you use code FIREJOSH at checkout for 25% off at pandasups.com. And I'll tell you what, man, they got some brand new protein that is going to knock your socks off. And if you don't got socks on, it might knock your pants off. And if you don't got pants on, well, now this is kind of weird, isn't it? But what I want you to try is they're brand new. It's like this mint chocolate chip protein. What it reminds me of is my childhood. My mom used to always take me to this, it's called Heaters Drive-In. Shout out to Heaters Drive-In. And I used to get this ice cream cone because I'm a big mint chocolate chip fan, especially in the summer, but it's got real cookie chunks in it. It's insane. And Jeremy, I just got this next one that you're about to show, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch one. It tastes like the cereal, like the milk from Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and then there's also chunks of it in there. I put this one in my Ninja Creamy. Dude, if you got a Creamy at home, I'm pretty sure Panda Supps protein was made for it. But they have a lot of amazing protein. They have the fruity, it tastes like the Fruity Pebbles milk from cereal. They have vanilla ice cream, chocolate. They also have ones where it's freeze-dried strawberries inside. I mean, the amount of protein that you can get, it's 140 calories, no sugar added, no artificial colors, no amino spiking, digestive enzymes. There's a probiotic blend, grass-fed collagen, multi-stage protein. It's protein that's great to use after a workout. It's also going to curb your appetite. And maybe one of the most important things why I love it, it's owned by a Raider fan. I support and there's a reason why Panda Supps has been a sponsor here on the show for over 2 years now. So shout out to them for always trying to hook up the nation. And if anybody wants to get started with Panda, the link's going to be available to you guys down in the comments, down in the description. Hopefully you don't remember to use that code FIREJOSH. All right, coming up here, 3 other things that the Raiders should do to actually try to fix what the hell's going on here before the NFL trade deadline. The first thing is this. I know that there's a little bit of a quarterback conundrum going on right now, and they don't know if it's going to be Jimmy G. I don't think it's going to be Brian Hoyer again. Here's what you can do. You can start Aidan O'Connell. I've watched Jimmy Garoppolo. I've watched Brian Hoyer. From an eye test standpoint, Aidan gives you the best chance to win because he's the guy that I believe is the only one that can help you use the entire field. I will admit that none of these quarterbacks give me a lot of confidence right now, and I'm willing to roll with the punches with Aidan because he is a rookie, and I know that Garoppolo isn't going to ever be the future. I know that Brian Hoyer is never going to be the future. But the quarterbacks, that's what Josh McDaniels is supposed to do. That's what Josh is supposed to know, and that's been by far the biggest issue of this team. So not only is your head coach bad at coaching, he's also bad at picking out a QB, which last time I checked, probably not the best thing, especially if you want the Raiders to draft a quarterback next season. So my question to you is this. Who should the Raiders start? Do you go with Garoppolo? Do you go with Hoyer? Or do you go with the rookie and Aidan O'Connell? I'm going to spam my AOC, and I think all the smart people out there should also spam AOC. Let's go to the next thing to fix the Raiders. You got to add a defensive tackle or an edge rusher. You got to add some help there to the defensive line. And if it was up to me, I would add both. I would add a defensive tackle, and I would add an edge. Now, first off, you can potentially go out and trade for somebody before the deadline, which that should be plan A. Plan A should be, all right, how can I go out and how can I trade for a player that makes my defense better right away? Now, if it was up to me, here would be my Raiders trade targets from a defensive end, defensive line standpoint. If you want to go a little bit cheaper, you can look at Caleb Von Chasen, Josh Uche, Milton Williams are probably some of the cheaper options. Carl Lawson could be a little bit cheaper, and then this is where it gets expensive. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Brian Burns, Danielle Hunter. Leonard Williams is kind of a tweener based on some of the reports that I've seen and heard from Giants insiders out there. And then Jonathan Allen, clearly not happy. I mean, there are 3 Washington Commanders on this list. If I'm the Raiders, I call up the Commanders right now. And if you're like, you know what, we couldn't trade for any of these guys because the reports are that the Raiders don't want to give up too much, which that's a good report. Free agents to target. If you want to go from an edge rusher standpoint, I'm looking at Melvin Ingram, Carlos Dunlap, Robert Quinn are probably the top 3 edges out there that fit this defense. And then from the defensive tackle standpoint, Ndamukong Suh, Akeem Hicks, and I'm just going to call him Matt because I can never pronounce his last name right. Let's now go to the third step on how to actually fix the Raiders. You need to trade your assets that you don't use. One of the things that drives me nuts is imagine you're just sitting on money. You're just sitting on draft capital. If you're not going to play Hunter Renfrow, then trade him. Get something for him. I'd rather get a 6th and a 7th. I'd rather get a 7th round pick than you not playing Hunter Renfrow at all because I know right now Renfrow is frustrated. Renfrow is a player that's not happy with what's going on because he feels like no matter what he does, it doesn't matter because he's not one of Josh McDaniels' favorites. I'm also going to say this. Renfrow was not one of the quotes that I got. I kind of realized that it might have sounded like that. None of those quotes that I gave you guys yesterday or a few days ago are from Hunter Renfrow. But if you're not going to use certain players like Brandon Bolden, why the hell is he on this team? There are so many players on this team that I sit here and I go, why the hell is he on this team? Trade away Brandon Bolden. You save $2.something million. Trade away Hunter Renfrow. Get something. If you're not going to play certain guys and you only want them on the team because they fit the Josh McDaniels way, put a clipboard in their hand. Make him a coach. Give him a headset. Don't make him a player. We need to make this team better. We're 3-4 right now. Got to make something happen. I'm sick and tired of you sitting on your assets, Josh McDaniels. Now, that's all we got. Again, that's my step plan here. Remember, if we're trying to get McDaniels fired, we need to get loud together as a nation. So if you enjoyed this show, don't be afraid to share it on social media. Don't be afraid to tag me at Mitchell Renz 365. And if the Raiders, when the Raiders finally smarten up and fire Josh McDaniels, we're going to be live here 24 straight hours. So make sure you're chilling here with Jeremy Chuggs and I. It's going to be a hell of a ride. All right, Chuggs. We got one more segment to do here on the show. I'm going to refresh my phone to see if we got any more people in the 50-50 raffle. James, 2 of them, you in. And then another one in here for Trace. So I don't know what that math ends up. I don't know what the math ends up mathing out here. It's Nico, Kim, Richard, Derek, Luis, Jeffrey, Justine. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
before
17,
we get
18,
any more going, Mitch, I do want to shout out something because we did say, don't go to the games.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean you can't go and have fun.
I agree.
Especially if you go to Vegas. I know the tailgating scene is lit.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of guys out there, Raider Cody, Graf, they have great stuff going with tailgates. Lots of fun on game day. Just because you don't go to the games and spend your money there,
yep.
Go ahead and go have some fun and go to Vegas and enjoy yourself.
One of the places.
Just try to enjoy yourself.
One of the places that Jeremy, I had to show Chuggs because this is where I used to do my watch parties back in 2021. And I'll tell you this right now. I'd say there's about a one just win baby chance that Chuggs and I go back to RedTail at Resorts World. And if you went to those watch parties before, hey, shout out to you. But RedTail also, man, they have a lot of awesome food. They have a lot of awesome drinks. It's a really cool tailgating experience, if you ask me. And I'm hoping to get the opportunity to go out to RedTail again and do some watch parties in Vegas. If you want to know some of the deals that they have, like I know on Mondays they do $4 any 20-ounce beer. And if you're out in Vegas, trying to get any kind of deal is awesome. Their burgers there are incredible. The wings, actually, for me, you guys know how much I like burgers. Wings at RedTail, I think were some of the best things that they had. And they also did a bunch of deals like RedTail Friday deal, $7 margaritas. They did $7 espresso martinis, and that was 10 p.m. to midnight. This, though, right here, they're sweets. They take some of your favorite cereals when you were a kid, and they turn them into like a Rice Krispie treat. It absolutely slaps. Also, I had the high score at RedTail for a really long time in the basketball shooting game. Unfortunately, somebody broke it, but there's beer pong there. They have Dance Dance Revolution, a bunch of different games. So if anybody ever goes out to Las Vegas, I encourage you to go check out RedTail. Make a reservation at chatsports.com/RedTail. That link's going to be available to you guys down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. But it just gives you another opportunity to go chill out with some Raider fans, have a good time, and have some good food, have some good drinks. And it's really, really awesome. If you don't want to go that late because you have kids, but like they have the giant Red Solo Cup beer pong where you shoot a basketball.
Oh, Nico.
It's a lot of fun.
We actually ate there. He said Fuhu right next door has some fire brunch.
We went to Fuhu. That's how we found it. We went to Fuhu, had some good food, went to RedTail. Really, really cool experience.
Good drinks, good fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I know everybody's talking about the Sphere. Everybody's talking about the Sphere in Vegas. Fun thing is, right outside of RedTail,
they have a little one.
There's a mini Sphere. I say mini. It's still huge.
It's still massive. Still absolutely massive. Jeremy, I need to change my jersey one more time. Also, I need to go take a pee. I need to go take a pee. I know.
Dude, you got to get checked.
What do you mean? I drink a lot of water. I bet you I drink 120 ounces of water a day. It's a lot of water.
Get in our 50-50 raffle, and we do have some super chats to get to. Buzz Omatic. Yep, we did get you in. We did get you in, Buzz. Sean, it would be miraculous if they fired McTrash, but realistically, probably won't happen until Thanksgiving weekend, the bye, when they are 3-9 on the season. Ooh. I mean, yeah, Patrick, you can get as many ducks as you like. We're not capping anybody to one duck today. You can get as many ducks as you like. So far, we have 24 people entered in. That means the winner would get $120 hairs. Not bad. $10 entry, $120. I'd jump on that. Yeah, I mean, I guess. If the team is doing bad the next couple weeks, and if you're already out of the playoffs, I mean, I think you either fire McDaniels or you're rolling with him into next year, which is sad. Mario, what do you think about Patrick Graham taking over as head coach? Interim? I mean, I don't mind. Oh, first time super chat also from Mario. Interim, I don't mind as much as like your long-term head coach. I don't know about that one, Jim. I don't know. I don't think he's the guy that you want long-term for your head coach. Shady, us getting Harbaugh is a terrible idea. Go from Josh McDaniels, West Coast offense, to Jim Harbaugh, West Coast offense, is the definition of insanity. I mean, not necessarily, I would say, because not every West Coast offense is built the same. I mean, we've seen, teams who use the West Coast offense, team who uses a certain strategy, a certain scheme, work with one guy because he knows that scheme better than another person. So it wouldn't be insane. It wouldn't be the worst thing because they use the same or similar schemes. And just because they're using a West Coast style offense, it's not the same exact playbook. It's just a philosophy. It's a way of running your offense. It's not every single person who uses the West Coast offense is the exact same. So that's what I would say into that. It's not everybody who uses that is the exact same. Everybody who uses a certain scheme or a certain style doesn't run their team the same way either.
Sure. Patrick B., I got your 3 entries. So right now we have 27 ducks in the race.
Mitch, do you know how much that is?
27 times 10 is 270. Divided by 2, 135. So winner gets $135 as
Mitch,
it stands right now.
I thought you said you weren't good at math.
I'm not. I'm getting better at 50-50 raffle math, though. So, like, there's girl math, there's guy math, and then there's Raiders report math. I'm starting to get better at it.
Oh, yeah.
I really am. That's how I look at things now, 50-50 raffle math. So right now the winner would get $135 if you want a chance to get in.
Rolly math. If you put one energy drink in the fridge and somebody takes it, then you have none.
I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'll do my best to bring in some tomorrow for Rolly. I'll do my best. All right, y'all. Coming up here is going to be our final segment on the Raiders Report, and this is the one that
a little coldy.
I'm looking forward to this one because, obviously I don't want McDaniels to be the head coach anymore, but I do think it's kind of lame to just sit up here and say fire McDaniels and not have a plan, right? If I can't critique McDaniels on not being able to make a plan and deviate from that plan when it's not working. So coming up here, I'm going to give you guys some of my McDaniels replacements from an interim coaching standpoint, and we have them ranked for you, just in case you were wondering who I would want, who I wouldn't want. All that's going to be coming up here on the show. So, Chuggs, when you're ready.
I just have to check one thing because we have a new sponsor on this.
We do have a new sponsor.
Segment.
Another one.
So.
Another one.
All right.
Yeah, it's not presented by.
All right.
Yeah?
All right. Here we go.
Okay, here we go. And before
new segment, new sponsor.
Also, Miggy, I just got it. You in. That gives us 28. Before I start this show, though, I want you guys who are watching us live to go down in the comments and let me know who you want to be the Raiders interim head coach. Whoever you think would be the best bet. I want to know down below who you think would be the Raiders' best interim head coach. And if anybody out there needs to add me as a friend before you send me money, I totally get it. Donald, I just got yours. You're in. That puts us at 29. So 29 people in. What about him? Oh. Somebody walked in and said we should hire AB. I'm not shitting you. I might hire Antonio Brown than Josh McDaniels at this point. Yeah, he does. He's got great coaching experience. That's right. It's very true.
And here we go.
If you want the Raiders to fire Josh McDaniels, I want you to click that like button right now because coming up here on the show, I got some awesome McDaniels replacements when the Raiders do decide to finally smarten up and fire him. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and also the president, the CEO of the fired Josh McDaniels fan club. And on this show, I'm going to give you guys some of the top replacements for McDaniels if the Raiders decide to fire him this season. So here's the thing. I can't always just sit up here on this show and I can't just say, hey, the Raiders should move on from McDaniels and not give you guys a plan B. I can't critique McDaniels and say this guy never makes any adjustments. He never comes up with what this team should do when things don't work out the right way. So what I'm going to give you is some interim head coaches because you're not going to hire anybody outside of this organization. You're going to try to find another Rich Bisaccia. I don't know if I'll be able to find another Papa Bisaccia, but I am going to rank the top interim head coach candidates hopefully when the Raiders fire McDaniels. Here's another thing. I honestly believe that anybody would do a better job than Josh McDaniels. So anything to me is an upgrade. And it sucks to say that because I know that McDaniels does know X's and O's. He's just not cut out to be a head coach. I've been screaming it from the top of my lungs. Dude's not made to be a leader of men. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just he's not designed to be a head coach. So to me, at this point, I think you can't do wrong. Anybody is going to do a better job than this guy right here. So always remember this. Where there is smoke, there is fire. And I know there's a lot of people out there like, Mitch, they're not going to move on from him. Stop making these videos. I'm going to simply disagree. I also am not going to just sit back and kick my feet up. I'm going to try. I'm going to do everything in my power. I have a platform here. Raider Nation is the best fan base in the entire world. So I'm going to take my platform. I'm going to take the family that we've been able to create here, and I'm going to get my voice out there. I want to be heard. And if you want to be heard, this is the platform for you to do that. But when you see reports from Diana Rossini saying that whispers around the league are that the Raiders are in win now mode, and if they don't start winning games, he could potentially be fired. That's from Diana Rossini, an NFL insider. Then I got Raiders players telling me that the locker room is split right now and that they don't believe in this coaching staff, that they don't believe in McDaniels. And yes, they do. They would not be upset if he was fired. Let's put it like that. And then you got Mark Davis. He's starting to get frustrated. He sees, fans with signs holding him up in his face. He sees fans at SoFi Stadium yelling at him, fire McDaniels. He's getting frustrated. They have turned off comments on videos with McDaniels for interviews. They see it, they hear it, and it's starting to grow, and there's more and more smoke. Devontae Adams frustrated. Marcus Peters liking a post on Instagram about firing McDaniels. Players are not happy. Reporters are starting to catch wind of it. Next time, Mark Davis, he's the one that really needs to get it going. So here's the thing. We're not always going to agree on every take that I have. We're not going to agree with every signing, with every trade. But I do believe right now this is the most united the nation has ever been in terms of one common goal. And that common goal is getting the clown out of Las Vegas. So if you want the Raiders to fire Josh McDaniels, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, because when it does happen, I'll be live on this channel celebrating for 24 straight hours. That's 4 Just Win babies. Believe it, baby. So coming up here on the show, I am going to be ranking the interim head coaching candidates to replace McDaniels. I have 6 names on this list, and then also at the very end of the show, I'm going to show you the coaches that are currently on this staff that I do not want to be promoted because there is a handful of them that need to be discussed. But did McDaniels just get fired?
Nope.
Nope.
We have a new sponsor.
Shout out to Kudo Popcorn here for sponsoring the Raiders Report. 25% off. Use promo code CHAT. And if you haven't heard of these guys, you're about to hear about them right now. This popcorn, man, tastes absolutely sensational. So are you on the hunt for a new guilt-free snack? Meet Kudo, the official protein popcorn of the UFC. Kudo Popcorn's revolutionary cooking method allows each bag of popcorn to have 10 grams of whey protein isolate in every bag while still tasting absolutely delicious. Yes, you heard that right. 10 whole grams of protein in every bag. For a limited time, our listeners get 25% off their entire order with code CHAT at kudosnacks.com. Kudo Popcorn has multiple flavors to choose from. Kudo's garlic parmesan, white cheddar, and salty sweet kettle corn all taste incredible and make healthy snacking something you'll actually enjoy. You'll be amazed how Kudo Popcorn has somehow made your favorite healthy snack even tastier and healthier. For a limited time, my listeners get an exclusive 25% off discount when they use code CHAT at kudosnacks.com. That's 25% off with code CHAT at KUDO snacks.com. Save money, support the official protein popcorn of the UFC, and let's get popped right now here on the show. Seriously, Jeremy, before the show started, I had the garlic parmesan, and don't get me wrong, like I hear protein popcorn, and my expectations were down here. They surpassed it. This was really, really awesome, and I can promise you this, if you need a guilt-free snack, Alex is going to love this because she's like the person at 9 o'clock at night. She's like, oh, give me the popcorn. Go give me the chips. Well, now she can have guilt-free popcorn, and it's at a discount.
The best selling point I can give you is that Kudo Popcorn, it just tastes like popcorn.
Yeah, that's honestly
it. It tastes like, if you like popcorn, you love Kudo Popcorn because it just tastes like popcorn. If it was just in a bowl and you didn't tell me that it was protein popcorn, I would have no idea.
And that's what's awesome about it. So again, y'all, 25% off. Promo code CHAT. Link's going to be available down to you guys down in the comments and in the description of today's show. So coming up here, I'm going to be ranking the interim candidates to replace Josh McDaniels, because I think we can all agree at this point something needs to happen, and I'm hoping that the Raiders decide to move on from the clown and promote somebody from within. So what I did here is I ranked from 6, work on my way all the way down to 1. Coming in here at number 6 for my Raiders interim head coach candidates is Antonio Pierce, the linebackers coach. One of the things that I can't stand about McDaniels is I don't believe that he has a good connection with any of the players in the or with most of the players in the locker room, and he looks at guys as X's and O's. Well, guess what? Antonio Pierce has been there, he's done that, and he can relate to players. He is in his second season as the linebacker coach of the Silver and Black, was previously with Arizona State as their linebacker coach, and Pierce also has played 9 seasons in the NFL. There's one part of me that wonders, how you see a lot of these good linebackers that used to play in the NFL are now turning out to be good head coaches because they can relate to players a lot better. And Pierce, he is well respected in that locker room by all the players and all the coaches, which is why he's number 6 on my list. Let's go to number 5 here on my interim head coach candidates. It's Rob Leonard, the Raiders defensive line coach. When the Raiders hired Leonard this year, I was really excited because he's regarded as one of the better defensive line coaches in the league, and I know that the defensive line has struggled here and there this season. There's no doubt about it. He does have 11 years of NFL coaching experience, and when you're a highly regarded defensive-minded dude, I like the sound of that. Plus, on top of that, I want somebody that's really good with Max Crosby, and Crosby absolutely loves Rob Leonard. I do also think that Leonard would be the type of guy that he's like, hey, man, we need to add some extra talent here to the defensive tackle room, which I've been begging for a very, very long time. So with that, I like the idea of bringing in Rob Leonard. Let's go to number 4 here on my list. It's Edgar Bennett, the Raiders wide receiver coach. If you're looking for a Rich Bisaccia type of hire, I actually think it might be Edgar Bennett because of how long he's been in the NFL and how long he's been with the Las Vegas Raiders. So he's been coaching with the Raiders for 6 seasons. He was there in Oakland. He came on over to Las Vegas, but he's been coaching for 31 years, and he's never really gotten his chance. Just like Bisaccia never really got his chance. But if you want to look at Edgar would probably kick my ass for saying this, the grandfather figure, if you will, in that Raiders locker room, the coaching staff, they look at Bennett as that guy, as that Rich Bisaccia a dude where everybody has the utmost respect for this dude. And when you move on from a coach like McDaniels that doesn't have that, you do need to be able to have somebody that, you know what, maybe they don't know what it takes to be a head coach. We don't know yet. People said the same about Bisaccia. Maybe he doesn't know all the X's and O's. I don't know. But I know Devontae Adams is going to go to bat for him. I know a lot of the receivers are going to go to bat for him. And I know a lot of the players and coaches will go to bat for Edgar Bennett. And right now, you need a guy like Bennett. So I got 3 more names on the show. But here's my question of the nation. If the Raiders do finally move on from McDaniels, who's going to be the person that's right now a part of this organization that you're like, that's the guy that they need to promote? That's the guy that needs to be the interim head coach. And I'm not hiring an interim head coach to tank. Like, if you're just going to tank, you keep Josh McDaniels. However, the reports indicate that the Raiders are in win-now mode. So if you're in win-now mode, you need to bring in a guy, or I guess promote a guy, that helps you win some football games and achieve that goal, and it's winning some football games. Let's go to number 3 on my list here. It's Carmen Bracillo, the offensive line coach from the Raiders. And, you know, the Raiders' offensive line, I do think, has taken a little bit of a step back compared to where I was hoping they would go, because when Bracillo took over this offensive line, it was one of the worst in the league. Turned them into a good top 12 unit last season, and I still think that they're a good unit. The problem is the quarterback play is so bad that people just think that the O-line's bad because the team just gets, 8, 9 guys stacked up against them in the box. But Bracillo has been a part of this Raiders team now for 2 years. He's been coaching in the NFL for 5 years, and I get it. There's some people out there that are probably like, Mitch, I don't want anybody from the McDaniels tree. I mean, Bracillo was the New England Patriots offensive line coach, came on over, but with 20-plus years of coaching experience, including high school and college, I do think Bracillo has shown that he has the ability to make players better. If you can do what he does on the offensive line and win in the trenches and also have that mentality of how to build somebody up the way that he's built past offensive lines, that's a good skill set to have when it comes to being a head coach. Let's go to number 2 here on my list of interim head coach candidates if the Raiders fire Josh McDaniels. Rob Ryan Sr. I guess it's just Rob Ryan, senior defensive assistant. When I think about Rob Ryan, I mean, I look at the hair, the big belly. I love everything about him, right? Ryan is in his 2nd season with the Raiders, was previously with the Baltimore Ravens, and his family, his dad, I mean, they come from coaches galore. I mean, you're looking at somebody who's been a part of lots, and I mean lots and lots of different coaching trees, defensive trees, but 33 years of coaching experience, 22 years in the NFL, and he's loved by Raiders players. I know this. Raiders players absolutely love Rob Ryan. He's the type of guy that he always has a smile on his face. Don't get me wrong, he's going to chew you out, but it's not too often that a coach, especially of his size, runs around the field with the players when they messed up. And he did that this offseason. And one of the players that I talked to very closely said that won over a lot of dudes, because it takes one thing for a coach to say, go run a lap. It takes another thing for a coach to say, go run a lap, and I'm going to run it with you. Rob Ryan is number 2 on my list, which means there's only one more person who I think is the best to promote if the Raiders do decide to fire McDaniels. But you know what? Here's a list of people that I don't want the Raiders to promote. I have 5 names. I have Tom McMahon here, the special teams coordinator, and what scares me about McMahon is Mark Davis. Mark Davis could be like, oh, hired Rich Bisaccia. He was the special teams coordinator, and, well, we could just hire him again, and it'll be the same result. I don't think Tom McMahon is a very good coach. I was not happy when the Raiders decided to bring him in from the Denver Broncos because he wasn't a good special teams coordinator then. And, again, I'm not going to sit up here and, pick apart the special teams coordinator. A.J. Cole's a great punter. Daniel Carlson's a good kicker. He's been struggling a little bit this year, but he can still get it done. Mick Lombardi, I'm not really even sure what the hell he does on this team, so hard no there. Scott Turner, the pass game coordinator, our passing game has been terrible. Hard no on that one. Plus, I think he only got hired because of his last name, Turner. Bo Hardigree, quarterback coach. Quarterbacks have been terrible this season. And then Jerry Shilpinski, whatever the hell his name is, tight ends coach. He actually has worked with quarterbacks in the past. And Michael Mayer has gotten better. There's no doubt about that. But these are the 5 coaches that I would not want the Raiders to promote to be the next head coach if McDaniels gets the can. Which means coming in here at 1 is this. This is going to be an answer that I don't think a lot of Raider fans are going to like, but this is me telling you what I believe. I believe Patrick Graham is the best suited to take over as the Raiders head coach if McDaniels is fired. And the reason is this. I want to find somebody that has past head coaching experience in there a little bit. And Graham has that. He was the Giants' assistant head coach and the defensive coordinator at the exact same time from 2020 to 2021. He has 15 years of coaching experience in the NFL, and he's in his second season with the Raiders. The one thing that drives me nuts is I don't think that Graham gets enough credit for how well this defense has improved, and this Raiders defense has improved. It improved down the stretch of last season. 6 out of their last 8 games, they were playing pretty damn good football. I can't think of the stat exactly, but they were giving up 18.3 points per game, 6 out of their last 8. And the final 2 games, they got torched because, they had so many damn injuries. The defense has played better this season. You can't deny that the Raiders defense hasn't played better. And if you're looking for just a short-term answer for an interim head coach, a guy that has been an assistant head coach and a DC, Patrick Graham is the answer if Josh McDaniels is fired. Now, here's the thing. It's a short-term answer. If the Raiders fire McDaniels, I don't think that they keep Patrick Graham as the head coach next season. What you probably have is you have to go out and you got to add another dude. So, if you want to check out my top McDaniels replacements for 2024, if the Raiders end up firing him, I have, 6 offensive-minded head coaches on that list, and then I have 5 defensive-minded head coaches on that list. That link's going to be available to all of y'all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show if you want to see some head coaching replacements for 2024, not just the interim list. So here again is my interim head coaching candidate list for the Silver and Black. At number 6, it's Antonio Pierce. Number 5, Rob Leonard. Number 4, Edgar Bennett. Number 3, Carmen Brasillo. At number 2 is Rob Ryan. And then at number 1, it's Patrick Graham. If you want to take a screenshot of this, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram. Don't be afraid to tag me at Mitchell Renz 365. But that is my candidate list here. I can scream all I want, and I can beg the Raiders to fire McDaniels, but I would not be doing my job as a host. I wouldn't be doing my job as a Raider fan. I wouldn't be doing my job as a person to give you guys a problem, which is McDaniels, and now I have provided a solution for this season. I truly believe that anybody is an upgrade over McDaniels, and until Mark Davis realizes that, we might be in a little bit of a purgatory state, but you know what? I got hope. I'm going to be rooting for this team every single week, and I do hope that Mark Davis smartens up and finally moves on from Josh McDaniels. All right, Jeremy, final. Wrong one. $10 to get in, 50-50 raffle. This is the final call.
It's the final countdown.
Got a few more people that got in. I think I said Miggy and Donald already, and now I got another one. Zach Martin, number 30. So right now, winner gets $150. $150 to our winner here. 50-50 raffle, $10 to enter. Who wants in? Who wants in? Final call. Jeremy, what you get?
Luis is in, so.
Luis was technically the first one. I just didn't see his name first. So Luis was the first one. Lil says there's an earthquake in SoCal. If that's true, please be safe. Please be careful. Also on top of that, what do we got here? Raiders roster moves that just happened. The Raiders signed linebacker Darius Harris and kicker James McCourt to the practice squad. They released tight end John Samuel Schnicker and linebacker Mikael Walker from the practice squad. They also released tight end Noah Tagai from the practice squad injury list. So Raiders made a few moves there. Nothing really all that exciting. I'm kind of curious. I'm going to definitely watch the kicker one. And the only reason why I say that is because if you remember before the start of the Bears game, Daniel Carlson during warm-ups had to be taken off the field, and they put him in the blue medical tent. And then his very first field goal attempt was a 41-yarder. I don't remember what hash side it was on, but he missed it. I want to say he kicked from the left side because it went left from my memory. I think it's left. And so just something to keep an eye on. Obviously hope everything's okay.
That other trace, is that the same trace as before?
Yep. Yep, double trace. I'm going to refresh my phone one more time here, and we got a few more. I got Chris. You in. Chris Mel is the name. In. Raf. In. Philip B. You in. I think I just got one from Mount Raider Moore Borelli. Yep. Borelli in. 34 in. Winner gets $170. Winner gets $170, $10 to enter. If you want in, we are going to do a duck race here on the Raiders Report. And then after this, I'm going to peace out. Actually, that's a lie. There's one more thing that I haven't announced yet. So on Sunday, Jeremy and I, we were planning on going live. And we didn't know what game that you guys wanted us to do. So right now, we're going to be doing a Sunday watch party. And I wanted to know which game you wanted me to do. So right now, it's 60% Broncos-Chiefs, 40% Giants and Jets. And the reason why I picked those two games is because the Raiders play the Giants and the Jets week 9, week 10. So it's kind of, get a closer look at the two teams that you're about to play. Or do I just do a watch party around the AFC West, the Broncos and Chiefs? And right now, the nation has indicated that we're going to be doing a Broncos and Chiefs watch party, though that poll is not over. I do think, though, it's going to take a lot, and I mean a lot of votes to swing it. So if you want me to do a Giants and Jets, yeah, there you go. There you go. Also, has anybody seen, Justin Abgen recently? I've been trying to get a hold of Justin Abgen for a while because he was our MVP, and I got to send him a football, but I don't have his address. I need Justin. Justin, if you're in the chat right now, let me know where you're at, man, because I got to send you a football, and you're just you're not answering my Venmo messages. Sirquan, you in? Oh, wait, did I type that to you? I don't know where I typed that to. Sirquan, in. Trace again, in. And then Bobby D, in. We got 37 people in right now, Jeremy, which means winner gets 135, if my math is correct.
Probably.
Aaron, you in? Aaron, you in?
Wait, is that the same trace as before?
Same trace as before.
Okay.
Same trace as before. What's up, Trace? It's good to see you, man.
Or
it's Buzzo-matic.
It's Buzzo.
Yeah. It's Buzzo.
Bobby D.
It's Buzzo. We got 800 people here
Aaron W,
in the building. What?
Is that NFL insider Aaron Wilson?
No.
Oh, okay.
You know who it is. It's Aaron. You ready?
I'm ready.
Jeremy says he's ready. So after this duck race, then I am getting out of here. Raider Swagger says, am I in, Mitch? If you sent me a Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365, the answer to that is yes. If you didn't, the answer to that is no. Are these spiders?
Yes.
Oh, dude, I'm not going to lie. I hate spiders. I have arachnid phobia. I really do. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Does it switch? I think you just change their eyes.
Yeah.
Yikes. This is going to be something. This is going to be something. Last call. Final refresh here. I did not get any more. So right now we have 38 spiders in this race, which means winner gets $140. Is that right? That's not right, is it?
Hold on just a second.
I mean, there's no way that that's right.
$190.
Yeah, I was going to say, I literally said that out loud. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. $190 to the winner from I'm Punchy. Good job, I'm Punchy. All right, starting in 3.
2.
Wait. Eric Garcia. So now the pot is $195. Oh, got another one. Luciano in. Winner gets $200.
I can make him cute too if you want.
Cute spiders. Nah, we got to go scary. It's Halloween. Okay, that's it. No more.
Shuffle.
Here we go. Starting in 3, 2. Winner of the spider race gets $200. Go. Oh, my goodness.
They're coming after you, Mitch. Ah!
Patrick B. And also Patrick B. Justine Gons right now in the lead. Watch out for Raff in an interesting spot. Trace the third. Also sitting right there, Richard D. But right now, Raph out to a nice, comfortable lead. Some might say he could win this one by a leg. Now, Patrick B. jumping ahead here a little bit. Although I think I just saw some cobweb fall out. At least, hope that was a little bit of cobweb from Patrick B. You never know. Watch out for John Borelli starting to pull up, though. John Borelli starting to pull up, though. Watch out for Philip B. starting to now make a really interesting push. Winner of this spider race is going to get $200. Tim 2, Aaron W. I mean, where are all my spiders at? Now Chris Mel pulling up here 5 seconds ago. Loose. Is it going to be Luciano? It is the last person to get in.
All the other spiders died.
They all died. Every single one of them. Wow. I mean, I'll tell you what. That's lucky right there. I don't know if I've ever seen the last person. I don't know if I've ever seen the last person to get into a race ever win. This is also the third race he has entered. Needless to say, he's made his money back. Congrats, man. I'm going to just send you a spider. Spider. Luciano, hopefully I pronounced that right. If I didn't, that's on me. Can you please confirm down below that you received your money? I need you to see if you received your money or not. All right, y'all, I'm getting ready to get on out of here. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Robert said, I never win. I mean, Brandon ran like 30-something races before he won. Like, it was a lot. We can't all be lucky. Like, Nico won. I know Luis Rodriguez wins a lot. I did once in the $50, but congrats. Oh, see, there you go. Josh says he's only won once. Have you gotten the money? I just want to confirm that you did get the money down below. Rebel, did I get in? Rebel, I don't know if you got in. Though, I don't think Rebel sent me anything. Let me look. Let me go back. Let me go back. Yeah, Rebel, you never sent me anything, man. Never sent me anything, Rebel. It's all right, though. Oh, so see now, all right, so now I got to send back. So Jose and Rebel started, they sent me in when we started the race. Yep. So Jose, I got to send you your $10 back here. Thanks. Cool. Let me just send that back to Jose. Yeah, Jose Corona and then Rebel. Yeah, Rebel, you didn't quite get in time, man. Sorry, bro. Let me send that back to you. He got it? Bet. Product of the street. Got it. Congratulations, my guy. All right, y'all. Hopefully you all enjoyed our show today. That's all the time. Okay. Sorry, Rebel. Click live next time. But, hey, shout out to Rebel Montana. Shout out to all the real ones out there. I know that we don't like the current state of the Raiders, but I can tell you this, man. I appreciate everyone that takes time out of their day to watch what Chuggs and I do on here. I love what we have created. We have an amazing community, and even if the Raiders aren't winning on the field, I'm going to do my best here to provide a good product. We're going to have some fun. We're going to put some smiles on faces, so if you had a good time today, that's all I can ask for from me, from Jeremy Chuggs. Heading on out. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And who you got? Phillies, Diamondbacks. Let me know.